In this video we're going to be looking at how the various drawn elements that we've added to the simulation drawing can be connected to the simulation and perhaps to each other as well, depending on how complex the control arrangement is. Now what I'm going to do is start with the control panel device that we set up before. Now if you remember, this one had a measurement port at the top and an output port coming out from the left hand side. So we want to now connect this device to the process. The way we do the connections is that we move up onto the tool buttons on the left hand side and click the connections button. At that point, when we move the cursor across, you can see we've now got a wiring tool. The other thing you can see is that a whole bunch of green circles, hotspots, have appeared on the diagram. Now these green hotspots all represent output ports. So these things are simulation output ports, and this one here is the output port of the device that we've added. Connections in PISim are always made from an output port to a corresponding input port. So to make the connection, what we do is we move over the output port with the end of the wire. Okay, so the pointy bit coming out of the wire spool is the pointer on there. So we're moving over that output port, and then we're clicking and holding down the left mouse button. When we do that, the green circles disappear because now we're in connection mode, and they've been replaced by red circles. These red circles represent input ports. So we have three input ports shown in the diagram. Two of them are simulation inputs onto the two valves, and one of them is the input port of our device. Now to make the connection, we drag the wire from the output port connection that we've already made. You can see at the moment the wire has a red dotted line. That means that there's no valid connection at the moment. When we drag it over the red area, you can see that that thing switches to green. That means that that connection can be made. It's a potential connection. To make the connection, all we do is we let go of the left hand mouse button. At that point, you can see we now have a blue dotted line indicating that we actually have a solid connection between the output of LIRC001 and this valve on the simulation. Now to break a connection, we stay in wiring mode, so we've got our wiring spool symbol. We then move over the output end of the connection. Now you can see as we actually move over that end of the connection, the wiring symbol changes into a pair of cutters. Okay, so while we've got the cutter symbol up there, if we press the left hand mouse up button, it actually breaks the connection. So that's how you break connections in PISim. So let's just remake that one like that. Okay, and we want to have another connection coming from the instrument and going into the input of the instrument. So that's our controller connected up to the process, fully connected up to the process. Let's add another control panel device just to show a problem that can sometimes happen. So let's say we want to have a flow indicator on there. We'll just configure that as a flow indicator. 002. And give it units. It's not to 100, it's cubic meters an hour on this thing, and we want the measurement signal going into the bottom, so let's click OK. Okay, so that's a virtual device. Now let's try and connect this thing up. Okay, you can see that we've actually got some problems here. It's not allowing us to make the connection. The reason for this is that we've put the device too close to the connection port. It's actually overlapping the connection port in the simulation, so really PISim can't figure out which one of these that you're actually wanting to touch, if you like. The solution is you just move the thing a little bit further away and you can make the connection, and then if you desperately want that thing to be really close, you can move it back again. Okay, the connection will still be in place. It's probably best keeping it a little bit away from it so that you can see there's a line on it, but otherwise that's it. Okay, that's all there is to connecting things up, and this works on any diagram element. So let's say, I don't know, if we had a wire positioner, we could put that there, and our input port's going to be on the left hand side. Let's click the connection thing. Now you can see that with this thing we still have an output port on the measuring instrument. Now you can actually connect output ports to multiple devices, so that the output port can go to multiple places. Input ports can only be connected to a single connection. So once you've actually used your input port, like for example I'm trying to connect onto there, but you can see it's not even showing that an input port is present. The reason for that is there's already a connection onto that input port. So input ports can only accept one connection. You can pull out multiple wires from an output port. That's not a particular problem. Okay, thank you very much for listening.